I see 5 seconds to start in the YouTube. Wow, it started. Yeah, that's it. Hi, everyone. My name is Victor, and thank you for coming. We've got a very interesting webinar for you today. We'll speak about the topic I think that touches everybody here. It's about writing boilerplate and how to reduce this and how to overcome things called overengineering when B2B applications development happening. But last time we've got problems with the webinar, and there was a certain crack in the voice recording due to the fact that we've changed the infrastructure of our webinar session. And would you be so kind to send pluses or hearts in the chat to make me recognize that everything goes well? That will be a favor for me. I see that Alex says that we hear you and see you. Makes sense. That means that everything's fine, so we can go on. Today I'm working with Amir. Maybe you won't see him, but he manages all this webinar session today. I will help him. I will ask him to help me sometimes if something will go wrong. Okay. Greetings from India, even. Yeah, and now I will ask Amir to switch the slides because I think it's time to start the session and to open the main topic we've met for today. Thank you, Amir. Yeah, so let's go. Once again, for those who just connected, my name is Victor. Our today's topic is written on the slide. I don't want to read it again. Our today's agenda is shown on the next slide. Here you can see the main topics which we'll discuss today. We have 4 major topics, but we will put most efforts on the items from 1 to 3, and the 4th one will just touch a little bit because it will be covered in a separate presentation. So the first topic is custom software development challenges. I hope that most of you who came today are connected or related to custom software development somehow. And the first item we shall uncover today is discussing the challenges you meet during the custom software development to make the same baseline. So to set up the same footprint of the understanding of the problem we meet during the enterprise software development. And the second big topic is choosing the right productivity tool. The main business we make in Jmix and in homegrown especially is building the productivity tools. So we do productivity tools and frameworks for professional developers. And we know a lot about the approaches of choosing the right productivity tool. And we'll discuss how to overcome challenges with boilerplate and overengineering with choosing the right productivity tool. And I will present today a decision-making framework which will help you to choose the right tool for your next project, or maybe will help you with the existing project you are working on right now. And the last big topic is we will talk about revisiting model-driven development and revisiting the rapid application development, which a little bit blurred nowadays. So let's say everybody speaks about low code, but if we will investigate what low code is, in most cases, we'll find out that it's rapid application development in any case. And today I will speak about how the modern rapid application development looks like, how it can be represented by Jmix as a rapid application development tool for professional web applications development. And we'll speak a little bit about trade-offs, about, let's say, concerns of implementing this kind of technology, and especially about architectural concerns. We'll speak about comparing modular monoliths and microservices, let's say hype architecture for today, and touch this topic a little bit. I mentioned already that we won't dive inside too deep. We'll just touch it, and this will be a topic for a separate webinar where we'll unwrap this topic more in a more detailed approach. Okay, so let's start with the first slide. Yeah, here you can see a lot of figures, rectangles, rhombs, and so on, and colors. What is this? Okay, I'm speaking from the side of the Holman company, and Holman is a big company, and we are a part of it. This is a custom software development company. It was established in 2008, so almost 20 years ago. Less, yeah, sure, less. And we built a lot of projects. We built a lot of digital products delivered to the customers. And if we put those products on some, let's say, board represented on the slide, and categorize these products by features of business logic complexity and data model size, they will look like the following. Yeah, so they are start not from null, because we usually don't have the enterprise software with absolutely zero amount of entities inside, but the business logic can be quite narrow in them. Yeah, and they will look like this. Yeah, and definitely if you put the projects you are working on right now on this board, it may happen that it looks like following. So they do really somehow appear on this let's say cloud of points, and sometimes your project can stand out. Yeah, so for some reasons that can have excessive data model or excessive business logic. But as overall, to be honest, they are almost crude ups. We claim them crude apps because they are always about some data grids where we make users to create new record, read a record, update a record, delete a record. So yeah, they can be represented as tables, yeah, so or well-known spreadsheets. And this makes us this makes us to say that business apps are almost crude apps. This is what we found out after a lot of years of working with enterprise software development, that in most cases, crude applications represent a typical enterprise software development use case. And if you will search in the internet, on Twitter also, you can see that the community of developers do recognize this statement, that the enterprise software development is in most reasons connected with the crude application development. So, okay, you can say that, well, is that the webinar, is it difficult to write a crude app nowadays? No, definitely no, it's not difficult, but it's too long. So the duration and the amount of boilerplate inside is quite big nowadays, because we do implement standardized technologies like Spring Boot in Jmix, in Java, Miss Vaadin, sorry. And this acute technology, it gives us a lot of template and stuff, but there are a lot of things to do to perform quite a simple things. You know, a month ago, I've met an article on the InfoQ resource on the InfoQ website. It was related to the REST API development, and this there was a white paper which I've downloaded, and it included 130 pages of implementing a REST API in Spring Boot application, with detailed instructions, with code samples, and so on. So it's not difficult, but there are a lot of things to write. So if you want to make a crude application, a modern crude application in Java, as it's shown on the slide, you should do the following. You should define the data model as a GPA entity. You should define data transfer objects and write the mappers, which will transform your GPA entities to DTOs. Then you need to build REST controllers and implement Spring Security on top of it. And afterwards, you should write a separate front-end application, a JavaScript application, and let's say it's a typical approach. Moreover, then you come to the business logic. And when you come to business logic, let's say you're already tired with all this stuff you need to write. And this is the problem which most of you met, really. And we recognize that teams try to fight with this boilerplate or the problem called code duplication and find different approaches to code reusing. Yeah, so is it smart to reuse code to write something once and implement it a lot of times? But the solution they carry, the solution they find, usually not effective. The most ineffective solution we recognize in more often than ever are what we call them homegrown frameworks. So these are the frameworks which teams assemble for themselves. They get some, let's say, low-level frameworks, combine them together because it looks convenient for them, make some kind of a bundle, make a high-level API on top of it, and well done. So a lot of abstractions, they were covered by a high-level API represented by these homegrown frameworks. It looks nice when you do the first project, but when you go further, you meet problems. The first problems we hear from the market is that teams didn't know and they didn't realize that they need extra support expenses because everything you've packed inside this homegrown framework, it becomes old. So after a week after you've just made your bundle of this homegrown framework, it becomes old because internal frameworks have been updated. And sometimes these updates are not compatible with your framework. You need to spend time. And we see that especially in-source teams, which work inside enterprises, they have a demand for a separate person just to support all the dependencies of these homegrown frameworks, which they didn't anticipate when they built it. The second thing which we meet is the overengineering effect. Overengineering it means that from the very beginning, when the team constructed this homegrown framework, they implemented or they took some considerations of extreme scaling of their applications, which was too overpacked. So they never reached such amount of end users, they never reached such amount of transactions per second, and so but they took some very complex frameworks inside, yeah, to support this scaling. And nowadays, I should say that the skill to build let's say, nice looking and cheap supporting homegrown framework is quite rare. There are not so many professionals on the market who build really effective framework supported worldwide. And the last issue is the problem of lack of documentation. We are as developers like to create new things, but we are as developers don't like to write documentation because, well, okay, it's a framework for my own purposes. Why should I write something? I can prepare some notes and that's okay for me. But when we talk about enterprise software development, it is very important to make your technology understandable, so clear, transparent, for the person who will come after you or for the person who will connect to your team. So he will need a very short period for onboarding to get inside. And that is the real problem, which also takes time. And all these things, they cost money and time. And in almost cases, we see in enterprise when companies build their homegrown frameworks, they face minimum 2 of these 3 issues. And when we do meet these issues, yeah, we meet these issues when managers of software development teams comes to us and say that, look, we've got a new guy inside our team and it takes too long time to get him acquainted with the things we've constructed. Or even we cannot hire a person who can be connected to the framework we've already invented. And here on the slide, I've shown a cartoon picture. I guess that you know this nice cartoon. If you don't know, I should share the link to this wonderful cartoon representing the castle. Okay, please write me a message in YouTube if you don't know this cartoon. I will share the link with you. Okay, but the new person connected to the team with a homegrown framework looks like this small guy working with the chair. So he is really afraid. He's scared because it looks like a monster, you know. He doesn't even know from which side he needs to enter, from which side he needs to start. What is the first step? He just needs the chair to get inside. Yeah, okay. I don't want to scare you too much. I just want to say that it's definitely a problem. But the higher problem, or let's say the primary problem of this code duplication, of this demand for code reuse, still actual. So how we can resolve this? How we can resolve the issue of code duplication and stay competitive? Because writing those large amounts of code doesn't make you competitive. Yeah, people who are using, let's say, successful these frameworks can be more competitive with you and write and deliver the enterprise software development faster. And my target today, my goal today is to share a decision-making framework which can help you to identify the right approach to choose the tool, choose the productivity tool to support your, let's say, issues, your challenges with finding the solution for code duplication. And to do this, we'll start from the identifying the product we built. Here on the slide, you can see a wide variety of enterprise digital products we usually handle or we usually meet with. Here you can see payments, onboarding, customer 360. There are a lot of them. And there are more of them in the area of individual and team collaboration work. You know that in every company we enter or we just get acquainted, we can find the term known as shadow IT. There are a few people who are managing some spreadsheets still because this ERP system which is using in the company doesn't fit their needs. And there are a lot of those guys so using their small stuff for individual management tasks. And how we can address those challenges, because we can definitely find one solution, one approach, one let's say development tool to build all of these products with the same outcome, with the same efficiency, with the same productivity. Yeah, I suggest the following approach. We can categorize all these digital products by two, let's say, features. The first feature is the vertical axis. You can see that it's named as mission critical and complex, or the level of mission critical and complexity, which represent how mission critical the application is. And the horizontal axis is named use cases. It stands for the number of specific business use cases covered by this digital application or digital product. And you may recognize that in the upper left corner, there are minimum of software of enterprise applications, but they are quite complex. So they cover, let's say, end-to-end automation scenarios. While in the right lower corner, there are a lot of smaller products, which represent these individual and team collaboration applications. And if we put the reflection of how these products are built in enterprise, we can see the following, that we can split all the development approaches into three categories: industrial development, professional development, and citizen development. Each category can be nicely described in terms of the size of development teams and the needed development skills. If we meet the product or the project for loan processing, yeah, or for processing payments, there are usually a huge amount of people working with it. Usually we talk about 20, 30, and sometimes 50 people working on the same product. And due to the limitations of an effective development team of 7 people, you know, pizza team, there are several teams working the same product. And inside the team, there are different skill sets. So each team may consist of, let's say, 2 or 3 backend developers, separate front-end developers, quality assurance managers, project managers, and so on. As for professional development, it differs, because in the professional development area, still professional developers are working, but there are not too many developers inside the development team. We see that in average, there is a team consisting of from 1 to 3 developers working on the same product. They have semi-business expertise, so they do understand what business does. They sometimes have a business analyst assistance, but in most cases, they build the whole product with minimum resources. So that means that they build their whole product by themselves. And what's most challenging, sometimes they have only one expertise. They are back-end, front-end developers, and they deliver the whole feature. And the last category is citizen development, where we meet the citizen developers. Yeah, we say it as from the naming. So these are development called, let's say, business technologists who have some, let's say, understanding of software engineering practices. They don't want to dig too deep in coding, but they need to deliver products for themselves. And they have lack of concerns because their products, they are related to their personal needs and the needs, or let's say their teammates, the people who are working with whom they are working inside the team. So these products are quite small, but there are a lot of them, and it's definitely very hard to make standardization in this area. And what's interesting is that each category of development really leverages different tools, different development tools. As for industrial development, we see that it's more reasonable to implement narrow-focused frameworks. These are the frameworks which are focused on development of a certain scope of the application. For example, React, Vue, Vaadin frameworks are focused on development the front-end UI. So they don't have backend. They are not full stack. So they are concentrated on delivering the user experience and communication with the backend. The same as Spring Boot or .NET Core, those frameworks are focused on delivering the best development experience in managing the backend. Or even more narrow frameworks like Hibernate or EF Core, which provide capabilities to manage with the persistence in Java or in .NET or in C# ecosystem. So these are the tools which, as I fit the industrial development well. Another category called professional development, they used to leverage high-level frameworks. These are the frameworks which allow a mono developer, we call them mono developer, to develop the whole feature. There is a lot of well-known products in this area. The most famous, I guess, Ruby on Rails, Laravel, Django, and very often we see homegrown frameworks right here in this area, which really allow with this high-level API to make a single developer deliver the whole application. Yeah, and sometimes they work in collaboration, but coming back to my previous slides, there are very few of developers working with products. And as for the citizen developers, development, they usually tend to operate with low code. With the low code and no code systems, the most popular of those systems are also represented on this slide. They are split into categories because the left category included OutSystems, Mannings, and Bubble, focused on building, let's say, very wide applicable small applications, while those as WordPress or Joomla are focused on building websites, static websites, website content. Yeah, okay. If we can project the type of the application to the category of the development, and then decide which technology should we use, what should we do with the gray zones? The gray zones are the zones which lay in between the categories. You see that professional development and citizen development are overlapping, and professional development is overlapping with industrial development. This is the areas which need the most attention from you, because it's very easy to fail inside these categories. It can be represented as a business case when people take a low-code tool trying to build, let's say, a box deliverable, or let's say commercial of the shelf product. Yeah, so it's not reasonable because you will be stuck in the low-code ecosystem, for example. So how to resolve this issue? So how to recognize which kind of technology fits you most? Then I suggest to categorize all these development tools by the additional features. If they are the development speed and the range of applicability. The development speed answers the question, how fast can the developer with the existing skill set deliver the whole feature? So what time does he need? The range of applicability demonstrates how specific, or let's say how wide is the range of applications which can be built with this technology. And as you may see, the highest speed of development lays in the area of low-code system and in citizen development, while the range of applicability gains the most when we talk about industrial development and narrow-focused frameworks, which have lack of limitations in the variety of applications we should build. On top of that, we should take in charge the factor of manageability and flexibility. It's a very complex statement, but can be very easily explained. So it answers the question, what time should it take when you hit the wall? Yeah. So when the technology will make you struggle with it. Yeah, you maybe heard about this statement that I start to struggle with my framework. This, I can say, the main point which should be taken in consideration. You should examine in advance when you should hit the wall. What is the limitation of the technology you are going to implement? But overall, the best scale I prefer is the scale of license expenses versus labor costs. It can be easily mapped on these frameworks categories, because if we go to the narrow focused frameworks, usually we gain labor costs because we need more people to deliver the feature, to deliver the digital product. While at the same time, when we go to the higher level of abstractions, from high level to low code platforms, we start to struggle with the license expenses because we need to pay for the runtime, for the tools, or something else. And I think that this scale will allow you to make the decision easier, because if you take into consideration this 5-dimensional framework, you can examine each of the scale, put your score, and decide which type of the framework or the development approach fits you most. Here is this small wrap-up of the approaches of the framework, of the decision-making framework I've just introduced. So the first thing you should do before entering the product is to identify what is the product. Yeah, this will help you to identify what is the needed team and skill set. It's very very funny to say, because usually we have an existing team and skill set, and in most cases this is I am. Yeah, so this is I am the team and this is my skill set. Okay, then you should identify whether you can meet the deadline with this technology. So whether you can meet the time frame with this technology. After that, you need to decide, is the technology flexible enough to meet the requirements, or when you will hit the wall, yeah, in terms of the business requirements which you get out of your customer. Finally, you need to decide whether you are ready to pay for runtime or development tools. Especially, I want to focus your attention on the development tools, because they will help you to boost the speed of development in the area of industrial development in this left section, because still in the industrial development, we have the space to increase the productivity, not with the frameworks, but with the tools. You may know that nowadays we have two types of tools. The first one, let's say, generators. So those one which generate, they help you to scaffold the project, such as JHipster, for example, it's well known. And another type of tools, these are the tools which implement or leverage AI for in some extension, and they help you to write faster because AI helps you to finalize the line of code with the most relevant part of code to your project. Yeah, but in any case, it costs some money. And the final question you should answer is how difficult to find the right developer to support this technology. Sometimes it really becomes a blocker because you may, for some reasons, get loved with the technology, but after Googling the community of this technology, you may find that it's dying or it's not so active. As an example, I can I can tell about the technology called Grails. Yeah, more than 10 years ago, it was quite popular. It was a framework lighter, let's say, easier than Java, built where developers can build a full stack application with a language called Groovy, working on the JVM engine. But nowadays, after the head maintainer left the project, it loses the popularity. It doesn't receive too many updates, and even if you have some intention to implement this technology because it's a high level framework laid in the professional development area, it's very risky. It's very risky because when you start and you will decide to connect some more developers to your project, you just cannot find the right person who will be ready to get inside this technology. Okay, and finalizing this section about choosing the right tool, I hope this will help you in some extension to decide what type of the productivity tool should you choose depending on the product you are going to build. It may happen that way that you appear in the middle. Yeah, so in the middle or in the section of professional development. And it will be nice if someone who recognizes himself as a professional in the area of professional development writes something in the YouTube chat, because I see that it's quite silent there. Yeah, you can write that I am a professional developer, I recognize myself in this section, or just send some plus or a heart or a fire in the chat. This will make us move faster, I think. So in any case, if you are here, so if you are operating in a small group or even a mono developer, you may find useful to implement a model-driven development approach. What is it about? The model development approach is very useful and quite popular, especially in enterprise software development, when the UI structure or the user interface structure and the, let's say, how it looks and feel, it quite close to representing the data model structure. So let's say when the user interface business users are operating is very similar to how the data is stored in the database. Yeah, and in this case, those mappers, DTOs, REST controllers, and separate backend and frontend can be detected as excessive. So it can be recognized as excessive. So you don't need those complexities because they can be just compressed. Yeah, you still have an option to design the data model, to design business logic, but you get the opportunity to for UI to be just generated, because it's very easy to project the data model to UI and concentrate most of your time on writing business logic. And this is exactly what Jmix do. We call this approach less code development, less code development platform, for the reason that model-driven development looks, when we say about model-driven development, some IT guys say that it's an old stuff. We don't want to handle with this model-driven development. Okay, let's say this is less code development right now, but the idea, the core idea, stands for the same stands for the same purpose. But in this area, Jmix have some distinctive features, because Jmix in this area combines the productivity options available from other different areas. From the area of industrial development, we bring rapid development tools. These are special tools which allow the developer to get acquainted with the framework faster. It allows a developer to, we call it, push considerations forward. So that means that he does need to learn all inside technologies from the very first step. Because the studio, we call it Jmix Studio, it's a plugin for IntelliJ IDEA development environment. It helps you or guides you with the first steps in making your applications with different visual tools. It allows you to design data model. It allows you to generate UI from the database schema. It allows you to construct queries to the database. So it does a lot of things without the need to go into documentation. But the core of the Jmix platform is the framework. It's a high-level framework. It was especially designed for the professional developers. I see that we have professional developers in the chat, especially thank you for Stefana, my love. Okay, the best. And it was designed to make a single developer a very powerful guy, because using one tool, one language, he can deliver a very good-looking application, web application for the customer, especially with the updates in the UI layer. You may know that we've upgraded Jmix in last year with the last generation of the UI framework. The UI experience can be shared as a web application, as a responsive web application, and moreover, it can be provided as a mobile application. It should work only online, but in any case, it will be progressive web applications available in the native layout. And I should mention that soon we will present a dedicated example in our samples representing the field maintenance application, totally built with Jmix. So it will be a mobile fitting application. But what Jmix framework brings on top of that, it brings this standardization, because it brings the approach to handling data model, it brings the approach to handling UI, and what's most important in the enterprise world is managing the UI permissions and roles. And everything can be done with the studio. And the last cherry on this pie is the marketplace, which brings you the set, a very big set of ready-to-use add-ons. These are, let's say, pre-built functionality which performs some typical system or business requirements. These system requirements, let's say, can be often met in enterprise projects, but they are not mandatory. So that doesn't mean that they should be implemented in each project. That's why the developer can decide what exactly he can grab from the marketplace to speed up the application, development. Should it be reports generation? Should it be a generic REST API, which allows to integrate applications in the IT landscape, or whatever? So everything can be found in the Jmix marketplace. And to examine the marketplace add-ons, you can go directly to the website and look at the add-ons available for the Jmix applications right now. You can find a lot of interesting things. And I can also announce that soon, by the end of July, August latest, we will make it available to make we will make it available to allow our community build their own add-ons even paid add-ons and publish them in marketplace to spread the technology all over the world, because we see a demand from our community to build those stuff. Okay, then. So it's nice to have. It's the professional development framework. It really makes it available to boost the development. Sorry. It really allows something with my voice now. Sorry. Yeah, that's it. So it really allows to boost the productivity of a mono developer or a small team in the area of professional development when building such products as customer onboarding or identity management application or customer 360 or different CRM systems. But sure, it has some, let's say, concerns. Yeah, so it brings some concerns, or let's say it has some trade-offs. So when we build the user interface with the Java-based framework, we get the limitation that is server-side UI, so it doesn't work in the stateless mode. So when the client doesn't have a strong internet connection, he cannot access the data and operate with the application. So it narrows down the applicability. Yeah, I should mention again the slide of the range of applicability and flexibility I mentioned before in my presentation. The next thing is that some extra things still needed to learn. Yeah, because Jmix is a framework, it has its own documentation. Definitely Jmix Studio helps to shift the moment when you need to go to documentation, but this moment happens at last, and you need to go and search for some things in the documentation and learn, yeah, how these things are doing inside, because you can find you can meet these limitations. And the last one is a monolithic design. Jmix allows you to create monoliths very fast. But when we come to scalability and maybe some redundancy in the enterprise infrastructure, it can become a blocker. But not with Jmix, because with Jmix, we do represent a special architectural approach called modular monolith concept, or you can find a similar statement in the internet called self-contained systems. To explain this approach, I've prepared a slide demonstrating the evolution from monolith to the self-contained systems approach. You can see that the difference between monolith and microservices is that we split the business logic and the database connection between small services, making the UI as a whole. Sometimes they call it micro front ends or the single front end system, which connects with the services on the back end, and this represents the microservice architecture. But in opposite, we can do quite similar with the monoliths. When we build monoliths connected or projecting a separate closed business domain, we can connect them with each other if their user interfaces or UI parts are built with the same technology as Jmix do. So that means that we can split the application primarily built totally with Jmix as a monolith into modules, for example, like a module working with customers, a module working with inventory management system, a module for enterprise asset management system, and present it for the end user as a whole. So when the end user will switch between the screens, he won't detect that these are different applications. Definitely, it would look for him like a single application. But inside, internally, this will be represented by a bundle of monoliths deployed separately. But these monoliths can be interconnected in a synchronous or asynchronous way, depending on the use case, by REST APIs or Kafka streams or whatever, some kind of broker messaging systems. This is the approach which we promote And we should say that this definitely reduces the risks of meeting limitations of scalability of applications made with Jmix. But still, you should remember that it doesn't go to mission critical applications like loan processing, trading or payment for a banking system. Moreover, more often we stand with Jmix in the area of middle office or front office applications. But always we should say it depends, and the framework, decision-making framework I've presented before earlier today will help you to detect whether Jmix or similar framework you should implement fits your business case. Let's sum up our today's webinar with key takeaways. First of all, I want to highlight again that we strongly recognize that 80% of enterprise apps are crude applications. So there is no need to perform over complexity in this area. And the model-driven approach mostly fits these use cases, allowing you to reduce the amount of boilerplate by compressing the layers. There is nothing bad in this use case, especially in the area of Jmix, because it is provided by Jmix team, and you don't need to spend extra expenses on performing updates of internal technology. I want to highlight again the problem of building homegrown tools. You may have a strong intention to build something like this for your team because you know some pack of technologies, you get acquainted with them, you have successful projects, but you should keep in mind that when a newcomer, a new entry will come to your team, he will face difficulties. Remember this slide from the cartoon with the castle, with the stepping castle. Yeah, and you should keep in mind that you need to reserve some budget for updates of the internal technologies. And you should keep in mind that making the right, let's say, granular approach, so find the right size of the modules and abstractions you implement in this homegrown framework needs a very rare expertise. There are not so many internal development platform developers on the market. Let's say there are very few. I want to highlight that productivity tools definitely depends on the product type and the dev team setup. These are the first indicators which will help you to define the right tool for your project. Because if you are building the loan processing system or a payment system, you should better go to vanilla or narrow-focused frameworks. And still there you will find special tools which will help you to gain the productivity. They will cost less, because such tools as plugins for IntelliJ IDEA or IntelliJ IDEA Ultimate, which allows you to, which eases for you to operate with Spring Boot technology, still it costs some money, but it definitely will help you to manipulate with these narrow focused frameworks and will allow you not to heal the wall at last. So be, let's say, straightforward in this case and identify your business case correctly according to the framework I've presented today. And the last few things I want to highlight is that we as a Helmut company develop a dedicated framework which really helps enterprise software development companies to perform more, to get more outcomes of your team. Its name is Jmix. We promote it as a less code platform concept, which combines the concepts of being a high-level productivity framework, rapid application development tools as the Jmix Studio provided by IntelliJ IDEA plugin, and a bundle of add-ons, ready-to-use add-ons, which you connect to your application, to your project, and speed up your development process, because you can find a lot of things ready to use there, well documented. And the last thing you should remember is that still choosing the technology, we should think about trade-offs. And one of the main concerns of using Jmix is that Jmix is a monolith. A typical Jmix application is a monolith. But nevertheless, there is a special architectural pattern called modular monolith architecture or a self-contained system architecture, which allows you to split your big enterprise project into separate models, establish connection between them, and provide your user with a single experience. So the user won't detect the difference that he's switching between different applications, because the user experience, the theme layout will stay the same. If you have some questions related for the last topic, I should mention that soon we will announce a webinar dedicated especially to this section. I think it will be September latest, and explain how this will work, sharing you with the example of the sample application, unpacking this architectural approach. So these are mostly all topics for today. After the webinar, all of the participants should receive an email with the useful resources and links. They are shown on the on the landing page on the slide. I don't want to read them all because I think you read much better than me. But I should pay attention to the last one. It's the Jmix free Udemy course. In March, we've announced absolutely free Udemy course, which allows you to get acquainted very fast, extremely fast, into core Jmix technology, and do recognize how fast you can deliver the application with a sample project, using the sample project. I do strongly recommend to follow the link, which you will get in the email, and get acquainted with this wonderful course. So follow us on all of our channels. We are available in Slack since June. You can connect to the Slack channel and ask questions related to the applicability of Jmix framework related to your project. Ask questions about its core principles, discuss concerns, or even just maybe propose some enhancements of the Jmix framework or Studio. We are connected in this Slack channel as a Jmix platform team also, so you can get in touch with us very fast. And also Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, everything available. We try to post news and get you connected with everything we do. So thank you very much for your time. I should switch to the YouTube chat. Yeah, El Bashir Nuni. Hello, I see your message. Yeah. Can you explain more the modular monolith option in Jmix? How can we implement it with Jmix, and on which layer? Yeah, okay. I won't go too deep in details, because I will highlight again that we will provide a dedicated webinar especially for this topic, because it's quite complex. First of all, I would recommend to go to self-contained system specification. So you can just Google this term and find out. The primarily inventor of this concept is the German consulting company named, I don't remember the name. Okay, I will share this in the chat, or we'll add this resource. I think we'll add this resource to the email for the self-contained system. But how it is built, it can be made as following. So that means that first of all, you need to split the whole application area into separate domains. So with some kind of isolated boundary, with less boundaries. So they need to be self-contained. For example, we have an inventory system and the delivery system. Yeah, so we can disconnect them, making the delivery system and inventory system separate with a separate UI. The problem is that we will get the at minimum product entity similar for both applications, but we can store them, we can store products in one of these application instances, projecting it to transferring it to delivery system via open API and data transfer objects. You may know that Jmix applications and Jmix platform allows you to define the DTO object in, let's say, delivery application, and build a dedicated UI for this DTO object also. when building UI for the DTO object, you should manually define how it should manipulate with data, but it is available. And we have a special example sample application for food delivery, which we'll share again in August, I think latest, for the community, and you will be able to download it from the GitHub and get acquainted with the principles and concept we store inside this self-contained system. I understand that it's not too straightforward explanation, and I need to prepare some supportive slides to explain how does it work. And my next webinar will be dedicated to this special term. I will prepare some additional schemas, and they will demonstrate how those isolated applications interact with each other and which capabilities do we use to make them connected with each other. Or link the docs. Find it. Yeah. I will share the link. Yeah, I will share the link. Yeah. El-Bashir just shared this. Just shared the URL for the resource of the self-contained system, and I still trying to remember the name of the company which invented it. It's something simple. It's something simple, but just get out of my mind. Stefano says thanks. Yeah, thank you for listening, and it will be nice to hear from you also whether the content was useful for you. Did you find something interesting? Can it be helpful in your business cases? And that's why it will be nice to get connected in the Slack channel. Yeah, because there in the Slack channel, we can discuss the topics we've announced today, and it would be nice to share your thoughts. What different topics can we unwrap or uncover in our next webinar sessions? Because it's always very difficult to evaluate what should be interesting. So it's difficult to predict. Yeah, there will be a series of technical webinars also. You can find them also on our website. We have a special event section on the website. You can go there and look which webinars will go next. Yeah, but once again, get connected to the Slack channel and share your thoughts there. No, Alex, the answer is not InfoQ. Enoch, that's correct. Enoch company, that's correct. Thank you very much. El-Bashir supports us definitely today in our webinar. It just got out of my mind. Stefano asks, is it possible in the future have a bootstrap via REST handling events as Vaadin? Is it possible in the future have a bootstrap via REST handling events as Vaadin? So you mean what is the use case, Stefano? Can you please share the use case? What do you want? You want to make a separate front end and to generate something for the front end. So just some REST controllers for your front end. The word, yeah, definitely. It's a good idea. I think he can tell a lot. He can definitely tell a lot about the Jmix technology. Stefania, would you be so kind to explain a little bit the use case you're asking about? Because right now we have the generic REST API, so you can just connect the separate front end. Yeah, understood. Right now we have, first of all, Stefania, you can explore, you can look at our roadmap, official roadmap. And the first thing which we are going to present this year to support this separate front-end development is the support of OpenAPI generator. So you in October we will present as experimental the feature to grab the Open API specification, which will allow you to generate the entities inside your project. But it's not about your case. In your case, you design the data model and the admin UI via Jmix, and then you want to bootstrap the REST controllers for the external front end. Yeah, I understand what you are thinking about. Okay, and for what reason you are not satisfied with the generic REST API in this case? Can you please share your thoughts? Why don't you think this is enough for this use case? Do you want to have something more than just REST controllers which support access to the data model and the business logic? Because earlier in Jmix 0.9, we had a dedicated React front-end generator, and we provided an SDK for the React front-end application. But we refused to go further because we didn't find it very popular. So this feature wasn't popular because it looks from one side too restrictive. There are a lot of nails which connects the Jmix, which connects the React front end to the back end, while the front end developers want to make more flexibility. So that means that we try to do better, but we make it worse. That's why we decided to isolate and focus development Jmix applications with Vaadin UI primarily. Stefan asked about more flexibility on UI. That's okay. I want to say that we are preparing a dedicated webinar to demonstrate the let's say secret capabilities. It's a joke, sure. We are preparing a dedicated webinar to demonstrate the power of the Vaadin 24 generation framework UI capabilities with our front end guy. His name is Gleb. And I guess that in September, also latest, we will announce the webinar for the UI front-end development with Jmix, and you can maybe detect that it's has enough flexibility for your use cases. But in any case, Stefano, I definitely invite you to the Slack channel. Please share your thoughts, and we'll continue discussing the UI things there, because there are a lot of trade-offs, workarounds, and maybe you can share your thoughts about how we can enhance this capability. El Bashir asks, is it a good idea to create microservices apps based on Jmix as headless, where each microservice is a Jmix project without UI, then consume this API from a front end like React or Angular? I should say that we have an advocate of this approach. His name is Mario David. You may know him. Yeah, and Mario David stands for that Jmix is nice for building microservices in the approach you've just announced. I'm not quite sure that he implements this microservices approach for designing separate front ends. I know that he stands for making data-oriented or data-centric microservices with Jmix for the enterprise web applications, and he has examples. I know that he's going to prepare a dedicated section of the Jmix concepts, which will be posted in the Jmix documentation. Wow, I forgot. Recently, maybe 2 weeks ago, we've published in the Jmix documentation section a special note called Jmix basic principles and concepts. And you can detect that we've explained everything about what was the motivation behind Jmix development and what are the basic concepts we are standing for. And in this section, Mario will also add, he's going to add a section related to the implementation of Jmix as a microservices as a backend microservice. And he's going to highlight the advantages of this approach because he really believes that it's quite useful. Yeah, so that's why I don't want to spoil his thoughts. He has nice thoughts about this aspect, and I think it's better to wait for his outcomes and to read what he will say. But in any case, if I'm not mistaken, Mario is in the Slack channel also. So you can just connect to the Slack channel and ask him directly what does he think about this approach. I know that he stands for this approach. He says that it's very useful, and he has real life examples of implementation Jmix in the microservice architecture. Yeah, visiting the sample UI hub can be also a nice idea. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I understood that I need to share the self-contained system sample application with El-Bashir. We have this sample application already available. I need just to check the URL, and I will share with you, El-Bashir. So there is a README file demonstrating how the parts of the application, of the whole application, are interconnected, and what are the core principles of interaction of the different parts of this application. Yeah, I will share the link with you. So I see that there are no more messages in the YouTube channel. Then I'm going to say thank you very much for coming. Once again, I'm very sorry that last time we failed with the demonstration, with the voice recording and transferring to the YouTube channel. But now I think we're already good masters of our new infrastructure. Many thanks to Amir for supporting our today's webinar. And if I'm not mistaken, soon there will be a dedicated webinar of Amir with Anis connected to the GSF migration and implementing Jmix as a replacement of an old applications based on GSF. So you will be able to hear him also. Thank you. See you next time. And once again, stay connected and be productive. Connect to all our communication channels. And I strongly recommend to connect to the Slack channel to interact with us directly. See ya. Bye-bye.